Assalamu alaikum, peace. Coach Nazir here, Outstanding Personal Relationships. Today, wives are behind the scene. Okay, here they go. All right, so we're gonna give you a few seconds. Feel free to share the video, whatnot. Today is a really important topic. So we're gonna talk and be here with you shortly, prayerfully answer a few questions while we're here. And spend some time with you. I'm gonna share to a few different groups so y'all can chat with peoples out in Facebook land, IG land, YouTube land.
So welcome guys, peace. Make sure you guys are letting us know where you are watching us from. We'd love to see that. We'd love to see where you guys are viewing from and all that other good stuff. Yeah, we have a great topic today to get our Q&A started on this wonderful Sunday morning. I think it's still morning, right? Well, where we are.
Yeah. Time is not snowing. It's wonderful.
Right.
And for clarity, Coach Fatimah.
Coach Nyla, I think I said that already, but you know.
New people chiming in, so
Awesome. Yes. We welcome you guys to a Q&A, our Sunday Q&A session.
Make sure you guys have any question marks.
Yep.
If you got questions, put a bunch of question marks in front of the question so they're easily identifiable for us, because it's hard to look at you, look at here, and
where y'all
try
at?
to find the questions in there.
You said what happened? You said where you at?
Where are they? Let them know.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Let us know where they're from.
Yeah. So guys who just joining us, welcome to the OPR, Outstanding Personal Relationships.
Yeah, we just
RMIC members. Seriously, guys, if you have not what it's about and all that other good stuff, make sure you relationships.com/RM for relationship mastery, because we go deep every single month. I would say pretty much every single week. On every month, we pick a topic, a hot topic in a hot area to go deep and train on. And we really, really are proud of our RMIC members, because they definitely are taking the time and investing in themselves and investing in their relationships. And we really appreciate you guys for the views and the likes and subscribes. So that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because in order for us to reach you guys and reach more people with the content that we have, got to get these likes, you know? We're not doing it for the likes, but we're doing it for the people. We need to get the likes so we can do it for the people.
Work for the algorithms.
We got to work the algorithms. Yeah, you talk to that. The algorithms.
all right. Well, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Again, I'm Coach Nazir. Alyssa out. Oh, that's your last name. I thought you were going to be out in Ohio. My bad. Alyssa, Kayla out in North Carolina. Jenna. Alhamdulillah wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, we might see your salams and we're saying mentally, or we're saying it now. So I have to keep saying it every time. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And peace, which in translation, that means, and peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and his blessings. All right, Dawn representing Bilal out in Pensacola. Alhamdulillah.
Jersey.
All right, that's our Facebook folks. Now, in Indianapolis, we see Waleed and Amatullah out in Buffalo. Sure, where's our Nigerians at? Where you at? Yes, in New York. Okay, cool. So there's a challenge. Here's a challenge. In salam, shalom, shalom to Yusuf and Armina. Wa alaikum assalam, rahmatullah. Yusuf in DC. All right, so here's the challenge. When it comes to relationships, there are so many different moving parts and different dynamics that it becomes challenging. Now, of course, I'm married. I practice polygyny. I've been married to Coach Fatimah now over 25 years, Coach Nyla now over 11 years. So with that being said, I practice polygyny. Not everybody practices polygyny. We're not advocating that for everybody. Matter of fact, everybody doesn't need to get married, period. There are a lot of different dynamics and stuff, right? But one of the challenges I'm coming across lately is this weird thinking that is going on in our generation. So for example, if you see our names, it's gonna say Coach Nazir. It's gonna say Coach Fatimah, Coach Nyla. You're not gonna see any pronouns. If you need to see any pronouns, then we're not doing it right. Okay, it's just a different culture. Some people are comfortable with it, some people are not comfortable with it. For us, if we're not doing it right, then you will need a pronoun. Okay, so we're not at that. That's a new culture. That's a new generational type. People are what you think they are, whether or not they're XX chromosome or XY chromosome, which does not change, by the way. But just saying. So here's the challenge. As a man, is it more difficult? And I'm asking, we asking you, we want to have a conversational dialogue today. Is it more difficult for men these days to find a woman to marry or for a woman to find a man to marry?
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, we know what the
What
stats
say
say,
you got?
especially when it comes to our culture being black, black in America, if you will. They say that 1 in 3, 1 in 4 black women are married by the time they reach 30 years old. All right. And there's a lot of shady advice that's being given that can be paralyzing to people, but there's an entirely new dynamic that we're dealing with, at least over the last maybe about 40, 50 years. That that has really been intentional, at least in my opinion. But so we're going to open up that discussion today prayerfully, and we're not going to be here long, but we want to open this discussion up. We're going to continue it prayerfully as we can. So y'all know any answers? Any questions? Any hypotheses, theories?
Right.
Is it men that have a harder time? Is it women that have a more difficult time? Some different solutions, challenges.
Are men
what do
and
you say?
women identifiable these days?
Oh gosh.
Are you able to tell
Right.
who's truly a man and who's truly a woman? If you're in that world where you got to get out there, and it's hard to kind of mingle because of Corona, it's COVID, Miss COVID, if you're nasty, she makes it difficult for mingling like it used to be. But are you able to identify a man and a woman in order to possibly marry them?
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy even thinking about that.
Because
That's
this is
even
a thing men talk about. They say, well, I'm not sure. Like the ones that are out there actually dating, and the one guy I was listening to was talking about his experience at the club. He was like, now look now, I want to marry a woman.
Born woman.
Ran up on a guy.
Somebody that was born a baby girl.
Someone that had
XX chromosome.
looking like a woman here and had some twigs and berries.
Mm.
So that was an issue for him because he was completely fooled into thinking this was a woman, and he was so upset. Do you guys remember that episode of, was it Jenny? What's her name? Jenny, the talk show host? Or was it Ricky Lake? I can't remember. But remember when that man came on there and said he had a crush on another man, and that man killed him?
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Remember that?
Yes.
That was Jesse.
Remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
And the way they did it was so vicious because the man didn't even know what was going on, and he was completely blindsided. That he could identify that was a man that had a crush on him, and then he got rid of him. If you all know the story, he killed him. Now it's different because you have men that look like women, dress like women day to day, or maybe for entertainment, and it makes it difficult for a man to say, okay, this is a woman, I'm going to approach her. Even with social media, they said it's harder now because back in the 90s and the 80s and all before that time, the men had to have the courage to even approach a woman. Now you just slide into the DM.
Question that we asking, just so they
know. Now they're sliding into the DMs, which is really easy. So these men that were heterosexual, I was listening to their podcast, and they said, you know what, we had to have the courage to even approach a woman and talk to her. So I've never had to do that myself, but that's true. If men or guys wanted to talk to us when we were teenagers, they had to come over, walk to us, and talk to us. With social media, they don't have to have that courage. They can just get into the DMs and say what's up. And prayerfully, the picture that's represented on your socials is in fact your picture, because there's a whole catfish that's going on.
And that's one of the challenges, but
it's one of them.
It might not necessarily be on the top end, trying to find somebody of the opposite sex. But now, what about those who do have, those who are women, natural born women? Find a good man that's going to, or for a man that's going to find a woman that is willing to marry him. I believe that it's more difficult for a woman. And I'm saying that not just from my own perspective, I'm saying it because obviously I'm not a woman, but I'm saying that as a father who wants his daughters to marry. I have one daughter that's married and I have 7 more to go, but it's extremely difficult to find a good man that hits these different levels and fulfills the criteria, if you will. All right. And so let's get into that discussion. First, we talked about sexually, meaning, or we talked about sex. All right. Man being XY chromosome and woman being XX chromosome. All right. As simple as that used to be, that can be a challenge. But so say you have a woman. Let's talk about this masculinity and femininity talk or discussion. Because there's a question, a sister asked a question, is it bad for a woman to submit to her husband? Very good question. I think we should get into that today. All right, is it bad? Well, first of all, what characteristics or what do you think makes a good husband, or what is that out there? You know what I'm saying? What are women looking for in particular? And what are men looking for? I'll discuss that perspective, you know, what a man is looking for, a higher level man, not just a boy or somebody that's man-ish, that's on some man-ish, okay? But I'm gonna talk from that perspective. But what is it that's attractive, period, for some? Now, again, this ain't just a simple baseline. Right. We talking about marriage. We're not talking about playing games and so on. We're talking about something that's gonna lead to marriage. So what's attractive?
Well, quick, just to go back to the initial question of, is it, you know, harder for men or women, you know, to find a person that's attractive? Yeah, to me as well, is more, it's harder for women. And we talked about it and kind of prefaced it at the beginning of this Q&A about, you know, it could be possibly by design and things like that. Of course, we can get into that as well, as far as the attractiveness. Apparently, I'm tongue-tied today. Attractiveness and what makes a person attractive, because it does a lot of the stuff and the design that was placed decades and decades ago, I think has put a stigma out. Not only put a stigma out, but put some crazy views that skewed the mentality of a lot of women, that caused the difficulties of them finding a man that's willing to marry them. And that's a good man and everything like they talk about, because you can possibly probably find anybody that's willing to, you know, whatever. But to actually find somebody that's willing to be committed and do the things that a husband does, a lot of it comes from our own vices and not being as attractive as we think we are.
What you mean?
Right.
What does that mean?
Let's get into it. Because the question is not the problem, it's the answer that will cause some issues with people. It's not the question, it's usually the answers. And sometimes we put ourselves at a higher level than we really are. People are not going to like that, because we are taught that, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all these other things. And, you know, make sure you have a good job and good career and all this other stuff, and, you know your value. But knowing your value is put, this part of knowing your value it's an agenda that's put out there of what your value is supposed to be. And then you find out, like, you know what? I'm still allowing somebody to tell me what my value is. You know, your value, you're not valued. And you're not valued as much if you're a housewife. You're not valued as much if you're a housewife versus if you're a career woman. You're not valued as much. You don't have a high value of yourself. Oh, please believe you don't value yourself high if you're in polygyny, because, you know, God forbid, you know, you're sharing a husband, you know. So it's these different things that, you know, society puts on us. And then we start thinking, well, since I'm this educated woman, that this and that, whatever, I'm at this level and I can't have a man that's below this level. But what is the man looking for? What's your husband looking for? The person, is that attractive to him? I care what's attractive to him. I'm this, and he should deal with me, and this is how I am, and this is the stigma. These are the different things that I was talking about before, of what this agenda was put out there of saying that You got to find your own worth. You got to do these things and go out into the world and explore and be a career woman and everything like that. And that's how you value yourself as this career woman. And then I hear many, many career women, a woman such as myself back in the day that was just out there, a person who actually wanted a family. I was stressed out, dealing with the outside stuff, dealing with the craziness, dealing with what society said, what's supposed to be successful for a woman, with 2 kids and no husband. Now, I was divorced the second time, but I'm just saying it was stressed out. But my whole thing, my mentality had to change because I'm like, I'm this woman. They should respect me. They should this and that because I'm this, because I'm this woman who worked and got this degree and this and that. I went to school. I went to college. I did this other stuff and was like, that's all good for my own value. But what does a husband value? What does he want? And a lot of the times it's a cooperative wife. It's a woman that's not going to demean him, diminish him because he get all this money and she this and that and the other. It's these different things. But then we put ourselves on this level because of society say this is what it's supposed to look like. And then we want a man to value us at that level based on what society told us that we should value ourselves at. Instead of looking at, okay, well, what is attractive to you? What is attractive to the husband that I want? What is attractive to the man that I want that's going to, that I'm going to build with? What's attractive to him? And am I the person that's doing that? Am I working on those things to be attractive to? It don't diminish your value at all, to be submissive. With that question, is it wrong to submit to your husband? It's nothing wrong with that. I talk about
in general, let's be shady.
In general, we're talking about in healthy relationships. But I was thinking about support, and people make it seem as though supporting anything is secondary or being, you're kind of pushed to the wayside. But if you think about supporting actors, when you think about support beams, when you think about anything like that, when it comes to support, those things have to be strong. Those things make the main thing look good. Those are the wind beneath my wings, so to speak. So when you think about what society brings, or when you think about your husband as going out into the world, doing these things and everything, do he have a good support system? Will he have, let's say that because will he have a good support system in you when you come home? Or are you too busy trying to make, you working too? You're trying to make a career and you need some support when you come home too. But see, that's where those challenges lie when it comes to family building and being married and everything like that. We are not the same.
So what do women look for?
What do women naturally look for in a husband?
What do they want? What do women look for?
Security.
What is husband quality?
He's got to be a great leader. He has to want to lead. I don't want to try to do his job and mine. Mm-hmm. So I look for great leadership. I ain't looking for nothing because I'm married. However, I remember when I wasn't married, I wanted a good leader. I didn't a good, consistent leader. Not today you lead and then tomorrow you lazy and you don't have any ambition. Some get up and go and wanting more. Like wanting. Get it. My brother drives a 18. What was it? 18 or 16? 16, 18, whatever it is. He drives a semi. 12 hours, 6 days a week. So he's a great guy. But some women that because, you drive a semi, child, I can't give it you. That's not enough money for me. Pass over a great guy because he's not in corporate America, but he's got ambition. He gets up every day. He's not lazy. He's good to his children. He supports his children. And he just keeps kind of running into, he can pick them. But,
he attractive. Now, we not playing matchmaker here, so don't be contacting us asking about our brother.
People kind of come in the comments.
We don't need nobody be like, who your brother is. No.
He'd be too intimidated by that. He's just a great guy, but He was like, you know what? People like not see the good in me. Now he has no brothers, all sisters. So he kind of knows how to treat a woman well, but it's like, they can't look past the fact that I drive a semi. I provide for my children. He was a single dad to his oldest child for many years. Okay. But they won't. No, can't get with the truck driver thing. No.
Again, we're not promoting him because he
You know what
all
I'm
right. He
saying?
cool, but he all right.
He-
So,
well,
now,
you know,
let's talk
I
basic
said,
stuff.
well, I'm saying that because, that's one of the things I have to, somebody had to teach me something when I was very young. I was like, how come men can't see it? Because we want, as women, all our ducks in a row. Everything has to be like we want it to be, and it has to be perfect and on time, or else we don't want it. And I was having a conversation with another woman, and she said, men don't think like that. Everything's in a little box, and the boxes don't touch, right? And they open one box at a time, and they compartmentalize things. But they actually look past the things that we're not willing to look past. Maybe it's not the most attractive person, but maybe the trying. I remember my brother did say that. He's like, maybe this woman didn't cook so great, but I applaud the effort of trying. I can work with you when you're trying to be more. Maybe it's not exactly like I wish for it to be, but my hope is that it'll become better. And I found that I wanted all my little ducks in a row.
Let me say
As a
something.
woman.
As a man, as a masculine man, that some people label alpha, even though studying, you actually recognize a guy who coined the term, went back to try to stop the term, but it kind of caught fire. So there's not really an alpha thing in nature, but nevertheless, it's still known as a context. When you're talking about an alpha man or someone who's masculine, we look for certain things. Now, these things are general based things. Women do the same thing. Now, attraction values, so it's not, when we talk about attraction, I'm going to be talking about something coming up next month called PMS. It's the physical, mental, and spiritual attraction. All right, because there's a way to attract someone physically for a man first. It's by the eyes. We know that men in general. Now, I'm talking general stuff. It's not, oh, my daddy didn't do this, so that is not right. No. I'm talking in general. I'm talking about that there are not some anomalies, because there are. Okay, but I'm talking about an alpha man. I'm talking about when she talked about a leader or somebody having some ambition. That's not beta. That's not somebody that's sitting back waiting to be taken care of. Okay, that's not the perspective that I'm coming from. So with that being said, there are certain things. So a woman generally look for that protection, that providing, which is under security, it falls under that umbrella. Okay, so these characteristics fall there. This is general stuff. I don't know of any man that's talking about, I'm looking for a wife so I can have, financial security and she can take care. Never came across that yet. We are different. We're different. Other types of security, maybe, what I'm saying? Food security, intimacy, all that. Yeah. But they don't call that security. That falls somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So, we need to understand we're different. You're a man, generally. There's women, generally. There are things that attract the opposite sexes. If we don't know what that is, then we start building up what we think it is, and that's not what it is in the other person. That becomes a challenge. So all of this, I'll give an example.
No, I said, okay. I want to hear the rest of this. Yeah, I want to hear the rest of this.
Yeah.
Because it is different.
So one of the things that's causing a big problem is this whole idea of strong Black woman. I'm a strong Black woman. That's a problem. Not in a problem just in the kind of general sense of, being strong and being resilient and all that kind of stuff. No. But that type of woman exudes a certain energy that is masculine energy. And that causes problems. All right. That causes belittling. That causes an issue just in that general stuff when dealing with a masculine man. So you want to say something?
No, yeah, I agree. But I agree. I really look at it, and it's definitely by design, especially when it comes to the strong Black woman part. Like you said, exudes this energy of this is the interesting thing is when it comes to the strong woman is that I don't need a man. And it's not even the point of me when you think of I want to go way back because I was talking to my daughter about it. I went way back and say when it was Adam and Hawa, when the first married couple, the first, husband and wife on the planet, whatever, or Devin, whatever. It was his husband and wife, but Adam was created first, and Hawa was created as this, and she was the comfort and the support, and it was this feminine energy. And the masculine energy, masculine women do not attract masculine men. Masculine women attract feminine men. Feminine women attract masculine men. This is the way that goes. And I was talking to my mom about that, and she was like, I found that, she started looking at the stuff that she do that attracts the person, or that has attracted the men she had in the past, and also attracted the husband that she has. And is she happy with that? And she started to look at it in a different way, because sometimes we don't look at it. We think that we should be the same. Men don't look at the stuff that we look at as, as attractive in the level, in the hierarchy or whatever, as we do. We could say it's protection and security and things like that, and then looks will start falling like kind of lower on the scale. Not that we don't want anybody that look good, it's just that's not the high thing. When it comes to men, they want someone to look good, pleasing to the eye. Coach Nyla says it a lot. Men are seduced by their eyes, women are seduced by their ears. So, that's the way it is. This is not something that's brand new. I mean, you hear it in the songs, you see it in the movies, it's these different things, but we have to realize that we're not the same. There are things that men can do that women can't do or shouldn't do because of the natural makeup of it all. I thought about when you talked about the food and everything like that. When it comes to things, women are natural nurturers. So when women don't like saying, oh, what are they gonna say? Women gotta be in the kitchen and this and that, whatever. It's not demeaning a woman to say your place is in the kitchen and that's where you need to only be and everything like that.
That's demeaning to say only. You said
No,
only.
well,
It's not demeaning to say only.
Yeah, only. You know what I'm saying? It's, I mean, that's what I mean.
It is,
It's demeaning to say they only in the kitchen.
Right.
I'm sorry, the words in my brain. Sorry. Yes, it is demeaning to say they only in the kitchen. What I'm saying, it's not demeaning to say that y'all know what I'm trying to say, whatever. You rule the kitchen. But this is the thing when it comes to women in the kitchen. We're natural nurturers. And I was thinking about it, and I had to think about it a little deeper. And that's the thing, we're not thinking about stuff in a higher level, at a higher level. We're on this basic base level and wondering why we're getting basic base stuff. And when we sit there and think about nurturing, when people eat your cooking, when you're cooking, are you cooking just to be, okay, go? Or are you putting love in it and care and things like that? When someone's coming to your house for dinner or a home cooked meal and your kids come home from all these different things, when your husband you give them this nice meal, do you put love in it? Is this something it's a nurturing thing? That's what it is. And women
and
are
you know
natural.
it. You know it. I mean, we appreciate it because it looks good, it tastes good, and that love was put in it. So she'll have a plate and it looks great and it's delicious, it's ridiculous, it's too much, and I still overeat because it's so good. She'll bring, and that's love. That's a way of expressing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You feel as a man cared for. You feel loved. You feel the energy and the effort and stuff that went into it. Even if you mistakenly, and we do all the time, don't always thank him for it or appreciate him for it and stuff like that. But I'm letting you know that's a big deal. Take it or leave it.
And it's a thing of femininity. It's not to degrade or demean anything when it comes down to that. And I think that society has put that, or the whole agenda of after, the men going off to war and the whole, remember we can do it, and the strong women with the
World War II,
whatever.
ladies are taken out of the home, put in factories. Right. And as time continued to go on, it had to be this modern woman where now you're in this workplace, somebody else take care of your kids. That's not the place for you. Somebody else take care of your kids in the child care center. Don't need a man in the home. We got the welfare to work programs, man in the home. There's a whole system that's structured along with the war on drugs, which now, smoking weed is legal and everything, but it's messed up millions of people's lives. They tend to have a lot more melanin than the masses. And then now we come today where the feminine person that continues to be put out there is this gay black man all over the place. So our topic isn't about gayness. It's about masculine and feminine. So men like feminine women, and that's their power. That's not weakness. You know, I remember L. Cool J talk about, you know, you're as soft as a pillow and I'm as hard to steal. You know, it's this whole yin yang or whole complementary thing where we cover each other. So if you are that, I have to be the strong such and such thing, you got to find out kind of where that comes from. All right, because there's far too many of our women out here, unmarried, strong, have this idea of I can't lower my standards. And it's not about your standards being lowered. All right, it's about attracting the right type of person. So how do you become more attractive? Again, the first thing for a man, we're visual. We want to see your physical attraction. I mean, I got to see that she's, you know, if you 300 pounds, what's her name? Miss Sassy whatever from IG. Y'all did a few days ago. You posted the co-wife tip, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah. So she posted a co-wife tip, and what did it say? Control your mouth because it could be violent.
Right.
And all of a sudden, monitor your mouth because it can be violent between co-wives and stuff, right? So maybe she's tuning in today, maybe she's not. But anyway.
She wouldn't waste her time, but she's in her comments.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, though, it's this whole, she's like there are fetishes for these things. I'm not going to say that people just are not attractive. Some are not to some, period. Whether it be watching Discovery Channel and you can see different double-blind studies of people pretty much go within a number or two of their rating. And when I'm talking about this is really, really important to understand. Sometimes women can think they're a 10 or 8 or even a 6, just physically speaking. Now we know, all right, objectively speaking, people have differences in different types of attractions. But the more symmetrical a person is, or the golden ratio it is, the more attractive this person normally is. Whether you want to get with them or not, it doesn't matter. That's just the scales of beauty. All right. So we can take a person and you can rate yourself, whatever number you feel you are. All right. Here from the neck up and then from the neck down. Now, I remember I was in maybe 4th grade. And we were on our bathroom break. You know, you said, get in a single file line on the bathroom break. And I remember talking with a couple of my friends, right? And we were like, okay, you know, what would you rather have in a girlfriend? All right. So we were saying, you know, we were talking about body parts and look, and, you know, face was a given. Obviously, face is number one. Still to this day, it's number one. Well, would you prefer should be top here? But all this stuff, I'm 4th grade. Okay. No hit, nothing, nothing. 4th grade. But we're having this conversation as young boys about what's most attractive to us in the opposite sex. And I'm sure the girls are probably having some whatever kind of discussion they had because they was always talking about boys anyway. But, you know, this happens early. It's not something later on in life. You develop certain preferences. So one, if you focusing more on here up than you are on here down, because see, here down, you can actually work on that. You can go from 350 to a reasonable fit weight and stuff like that. I mean, and look a whole lot better, period, more attractive. We'd agree to that stuff. That's not something that's wrong. And it's like, oh, you're fat shaming. Oh, tell that to your doctor. When they're talking about, you know, morbid obesity and all this type of things and talking about after cigarettes. See, we can be some of the most delusional things on the earth. We are the most delusional, to tell the truth. When you sit here and smoke cigarettes, all right, you putting these chemicals and things in your body that kill 500,000 people a year, and you know better. And right after that is obesity. You know, my father, Rahimahullah, he smoked and he started smoking when he was 16 years old. He passed when he was 47. So he ingested all kinds of drugs and alcohol, all kind of stuff. But I remember this June 2006, when he came from the hospital, he thought he had like some breathing stuff, like what was it? Bronchitis. He thought he had bronchitis. Doctor misdiagnosed and all this kind of stuff. Took some x-rays, they found he had lung cancer. So he came to me, he's like, you know, he had me come through, he was concerned, and he said, you know, I got lung cancer. Like, he was emotional, understandably. He's in stage 4 lung cancer, and he would be dead 90 days later. Right? But I remember my reaction. My reaction was not like, oh my God, no, how can it happen? My reaction was like, okay, you surprised? And I know that's not the best reaction. I know. But I was like, he said, hey, you know, he said, I have lung cancer. She found out I have lung cancer. So I'm like, okay. Duh. That's what I'm thinking, duh, in my mind. I don't smoke. Both my parents smoke. My mother still smokes. But I wasn't surprised by that. So sometimes we are so optimistic on the stupidest stuff. but we pessimistic on things that are better.
Mm-hmm.
So we pessimistic about reading this book, taking this course, joining this class, investing in myself, working out and stuff like that. I don't have the time. But then we optimistic on, you know, smoking this. Oh, I'm a strong such as I'm gonna bring my match. He gonna know who I am. I ain't no punk.
Right.
And you a woman. Like, who says that as a woman? That's I mean, to me, it's weird. I know women say it,
Mm-hmm.
but I ain't punk. That's usually a dude thing. Like, you trying to test my, you know, coconuts or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it just changes the dynamic. So if you're coming with this certain energy about yourself, but you don't know that men say, hey, you know what? One, you're not a 10 ever if you got fake eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
Now you might be to old boy over there that's sagging and, you know, mumbling and something like that. He, you know, he a 4, 3 or 4 for most people's ratings. You know, again, people just are where they are. You meet them where they are. They can grow or they cannot. That's the choice. But if you want to be attractive and you wonder why you're attracting garbage, I think Cat Williams probably said it best. He said, you know, you got to find out what it is about your ain't-ish person that's attracting it. Yeah, your ain't, you know, you got to find out what that's about. So if I'm attracting a certain type, I need to be figuring out what's going on with me. What am I alluding? What's going on with me? If I'm attracting some dominant women, you know, being a punk about it may become too, or I don't understand the different dynamics. I need to find that out. You know, very important. Women especially need to find it out. And the reason I say it's more difficult for women is one, is more women to begin with. Then there's more women that already have had relationships. All right. So if you're going just looking in general, I'm not talking about as a Muslim, because as a Muslim, your perspective can change, is open up, and you actually get hucked. So this changes a little bit. So in society in general, you have the ostracizing of a woman who's divorced, or a woman who's single with children, a woman who's a widow or brings other baggage. You call it baggage and luck, stuff like that, right? So in general, that does that. Where Islam really doesn't do it, comes to cover that. But at the same time, Islam comes with all forms of marriage, which is polygyny and monogamy. All right. But in general society, well, they say, oh, we just push monogamy, and then so women, they still outnumber us, not including the gay stuff, the locked up stuff, none of the download stuff. So many resort to being mistresses and so on and so forth. And when you're talking about generalizations, and if women are looking for security, you know, I talk about how men's 3 main things are protecting, providing, and exercising personal power. Well, women are looking for that. I don't see any male websites that's really set up for, oh, you know, these women are going to be in this area, they're extra feminine, they all this and this and that. And yo, go ahead and hurry up and dress up and get there for the ladies. Make sure you wear your cologne and you smell good. Have y'all seen it? I don't know. Maybe they do that somewhere, but they do have sites like Baller Alert out. You know, so again, looking just on the base level, how can we improve ourselves is that question. First, we got to be honest with ourselves. So when we're rating ourselves, we have to be honest. You don't have to tell anybody else. You're rating yourself. How are you doing with your growing? How are you doing with your grooming, your financial life, your physical life? How are you doing? Really, what are your goals and moving forward to? If you don't have that report card, then that's called delusional. We delusional. We like to think we're better than we are. We do. And we give ourselves an easy out. Like, I should have went to the gym today. I didn't go to the gym. I don't have a body that I want. No. Because you know why? That key lime pie, that cookie, that temporary pleasure. But then I get in the gym and I feel good and I don't want it, but then I don't get in the gym. You know, I don't. So let's not think too much of ourselves, rating ourselves up, thinking, and we're in the market.
For me, I mean, Coach Nazir said what he said, but if you're saying you're a 10, that means you have no work to do on yourself at all. You're done, you're perfect. That's not true. So if you go, I'm a 10, what? There's still personal development work to do till you're dead, till your days are gone. You're gonna work on you until you are dead if you got the right attitude. So nobody's a 10.
Not an all-around 10, but you could be a 10 in certain areas.
But you got to work in and outside. You can't just work on all this. What did Ply say? If you're working on all this, you plastic 80% of your body, then you're going to attract ugly. Because that's who gets the woman that looks like that. That's full of plastic, is an ugly dude. Wow. Okay, because that's the standard. I just want this looking good, but nothing inside. The inside is trash. But the outside, it look all right. But I don't know if everybody going to the same surgeon or what's happening. Right. But if we're 10s, see, I don't just think about outer beauty. I think about inner beauty more than I think about outer beauty. Yes, like my co-wife was saying, we want somebody that looks good. You know, I'm not a nun. I'm not blind. I look at what's good looking
They ain't blind either.
within the parameters of my culture. But we want to work on both. So when women are saying, I'm a 10, what? It's like that whole thing was unattractive
Yes,
to me.
that's where
as a
PMS
woman.
come from. Yeah.
And my grandma used to say, a woman can't do nothing for me, but tell me what time the clock.
Or when people say,
So
I'm this butt. I'm this butt. Like when they say,
Yeah.
I'm a 9 or I'm an 8.
You
Even
gotta
if they're not a
ignore the
10, they say I'm an
distinction,
8. But,
baby.
well, when somebody try to call them out, then they say, well, I know I need to work on my I need to work out a little. I need to lose a little weight. Well, you
Wash
just
my
put yourself
mouth.
like right up here though.
there's so
Delusion.
much to do because you
So-
you can't just, what was that quote? They talk about what you need to bring to the table. Sometimes you got to bring the table and it's broke up and you got to help somebody build it. You know, beauty fades, dumb is forever.
Some questions.
So, you know, we have to be careful about just thinking everything's outward beauty, you know?
So guys, if you are enjoying this conversation, make sure you are liking and subscribing and share, because sharing is caring. Yes, yes, yes.
We do have a few questions as well. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Outstanding Personal Relationships. Same as on Facebook as well. So a question that Celeste asked, Assalamu alaikum, Sophia, by the way. How would you describe feminine energy in reference to a man and a woman having a difference of opinion of perspective?
I think
Good
you
question.
can still keep your femininity and have a disagreement. Like when you get married, you think about husband and wife. It's like, I don't want to be the husband. I want to be the wife. So if you have a disagreement, I try to think about who I'm talking to if I'm disagreeing about something and what their perspective is as a man and what mine is as a woman, just being in this body with my being a wife and a mother. Sometimes I have to look and go, okay, men have to deal with, like, especially men in polygyny. If I could leave wives with something that I learned personally is that our lives are not going to be identical. They're not going to equal the same things. It's like their mission is theirs and mine is mine. And I have to understand that a husband's mission is not my own. A father's mission is not my own. I've been given my own set of to-dos as a Muslim woman that is Black in this place that I have to make sure that I'm completing. So if I disagree with something that's on that man's masculine mission, I have to step back and go, okay, that's not for me to do. That's something that he has to do. Even with our sons, I have to go, okay, I got to pull back and let him be a teenager and let him be a boy trying to turn into a man. I can't restrict that unless he's hurting himself, you know. But if he's doing something to build himself as a man and be consistent at that, it's just about me reeling myself in and going, okay, this is not your job. This is not your business to get into. That's something that he must handle. Because everything that we know about ain't necessarily our business, you know, to tend to.
And another thing is be kind. You can have difference of opinion. I mean, you know, sometimes we may think that we're right. It's a couple of things how I think about exercising femininity, because when it comes down to it, men think about masculine energy and masculine energy. Like the feminine energy can totally soften a heart. It can soften, you know, different things. I've had an example before where I had to de-escalate a situation and I wouldn't allow the boys to do it because that masculine energy would have just caused more issues. But even though I may not agree or anything like that, it's something about the kindness and the softness of a woman that will tame the beast, so to speak. So a couple things is be kind, be understanding. You may not have to, just because you know, don't agree, don't mean that it's something that you have to always express, for one. And if it is something that's important, that's the thing of even asking that. Is it important to be right now, or is it important to have peace? You know, so you have to figure it out. There are certain things when it comes to being feminine when you are at a disagreement or anything like that? Can we say, well, we're just going to agree to disagree, and I'm going to let you have your way and me be mine? But I do want to understand, how did you come to that conclusion, or how did you come to that point? Because you're really genuinely trying to understand. One thing I will suggest and put out there, I talked about in a post on IG about the building of the wall at one brick at a time. If your husband is trying to come to you about something and you respond in a way that is dismissive, disrespectful, or anything like that, or he's coming to you in a place, no matter how it may sound, and I'm speaking again, I got to put this caveat out there, in healthy relationships, he's coming at you at a place of vulnerability, even if it may not even sound that way, because he feels like he could come to you. And if you find some way to jack that vulnerability, really mess with that vulnerability, it will cause these little bricks to be built. That will cause this wall of this intimacy this intimacy barrier to be built, because of the masculine energy that was given to him, that he had to fight with. So he'll get to the point of just shutting down, shutting out, and everything like that. Sometimes it's like, is it worth it to be right, or is it worth it to be peaceful? And if I am right and it's worth it to be right, what is the best way? What is the feminine way to go about explaining myself to him?
My perspective on this question says, how would you describe feminine energy in reference to a man and a woman having a difference of opinion, of perspective? I'll describe feminine energy in reference to, well, masculinity and femininity are basically the energy that we put off. Now, again, we're made different. We have XX chromosome, XY. We both have masculine and feminine traits and qualities and hormones. So whether it's testosterone, progesterone, or estrogen, they get fired off on certain things in certain times, including certain questions. So these hormones can affect our behavior. All right, and they can be triggered by our thoughts, and that's a whole different training that we kind of go deeper into in RMIC. But women should never lose their femininity. That's actually a superpower. Mm-hmm. So one of the ways to influence is actually to dig more into your femininity. Meaning, I remember this phrase by Eddie Murphy a long time ago during one of his stand-ups. He said, cater to his ego. Cater to his ego. So saying something like, you know what, I might be wrong, but I'm thinking da-da-da-da, or what do you think about such and such? So you're coming. It's not fighting fire with fire. That's going to cause a bigger fire. That's what we're talking about with masculinity. So when you're watching football, for example, that's testosterone, that's masculinity. The hell's man even get his testosterone up? You see that? Boom, it's there. Like, what's the problem? That's really on a higher level masculine energy, but that gets into the action part. That doesn't get into the wisdom that women can have if they decide to use it when it comes to their femininity and their expression and communication. Because as Coach Fatimah talked about, what did it say? With your mouth, that IG post?
Monitor your mouth.
Yeah, monitor your mouth.
Person triggered.
Right? So monitor your mouth. It's a co-wife tip, and this is for everybody. But guess what happens if you use that in a violent fashion? You not monitor your mouth with your husband, so you come with this toxic masculinity from a woman. All right, that is not going to sit right and sit well. That's going to put that brick up. It's going to be a challenge or issue. But if you utilize that communication in a more feminine way, trying to figure it out, trying to understand, you may know you're fully right in the situation, but an easy way to help him be right, because if he's a good man, he wants you to be pleased, period. He'll go to the ends of the world with you if you make him feel like that. Okay, so there's a way to do it in a positive way using your superpower, which is your femininity, where he can come to and get to that point where you can have communication and be fine without having to worry about whether or not it's a carrot and a stick thing. All right, hopefully that helped. Now, Sister Anissa has also been saying some good stuff. I had a question
to the end of that, though. But with that, I think that we're talking about masculinity. Be masculine. So that hypersensitivity is different than sensitivity. So when you're talking about masculine men, they don't let every little tiny thing set them off. Right. That's a hypersensitivity. Yeah, they got sensitivities, yes. But when it's a hypersensitivity and they go flying off the handle, that's a problem. You have an anger issue.
That's feminine, yeah.
Yeah, you acting like, you feminine. And that has to be said. So women feel comfortable in approaching you as, if you say you got masculine energy, have that. Don't say you have it, and then it's hypersensitivity, because women want to be able to tell men that I feel safe around you. I feel safe coming to you about what's going on, because I want you to step into that, to be what you say you are. They want you to. The right woman is cheering that masculinity on, because they want that. They didn't get married to have a wife. They got married to have a husband. And that has to go. You don't have to say that.
Indeed. And Deborah said something pretty wise. She said, okay, I'm going to change it. She said, he's the head, but I'm the neck that turns it. He's the head, but I'm the neck that turns it. Hashtag wisdom facts.
I'm just saying. Sure.
All right, so Anissa says, what are feminine qualities that a woman should have to attract an alpha?
That's a great question.
I think one of them, I'm a little rougher around the edges. Don't be squaring up with your husband like you're gonna whip him, right. Because I'm saying that, I'll speak for myself, because I've coached people that have done that, where they're just straight up square up like another man getting ready to fight. I remember my dad telling me that my mother should have pitched for the Brewers, which is our home baseball team, because she had really good aim. When she throw things, she really hit him with it. He said, I'd be going out the back door, and it's the phone, and it's the hairbrush flying and sailing out the back door. And, I wasn't going to ask him what he did, because I know he was like, I'm like, what is she like? He said she could start a riot alone. And I was like, what? But I remember him being upset by that as a young man, and going, you know what? I don't. And my dad was a kickboxer in his early years, so he had them hands for real. And I'm like, what if he had just snapped and lost his stuff, and then she would have been in a dangerous situation, and she just didn't think about that. And he was like, I don't want to be challenged in that way, like physically challenged, And it's something that stuck with me, but I did see, domestic violence and things like that growing up. However, we've coached people that have genuinely like squared up with their husband, getting ready to fight. And I was like, if he could just punch you into a new life, and you just too, in your ego, to understand that your life really could be in danger if, there's an issue there physically. If he feels like he needs to defend himself from a knife or whatever's going on, then he gonna have to do what he gotta do. And I remember our daughter's having an issue with a man in a store or something, and they came to me with it, and their dad was running and making runs. And I said, you need to tell your father. As a grown woman, you tell you that, because it takes a man to check another man. And they understood, I'm not going to try to do that. And you have a father that's here to do that for you. And they understood the magnitude of me not stepping into his shoes and going, I'll go check him. No, I'm not.
Chivalry. How about chivalry? Let chivalry live.
That's the question.
Let chivalry live. Yeah, we know you can open the door. We know you can open the car door. We know you can open the regular door. See, one of the challenges is that I can do it myself. Well, do it yourself. How that working out? All right. Men want to be these problem solvers. That's why many times you come speak with us and we shooting out a solution. You don't even want the solution. You just want to feel heard. So brothers, listen. Use your ears in proportion to your mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. I know I'm talking a lot, but that's what we're doing today. But anyway, understand these small things. All right, we believe in gender roles. We believe in, I was raised on gender roles. I'm going to go ahead and take out the garbage. Yep, wash the dishes every now and then, but the harder, bigger things that I was supposed to do, that's what I was taught and trained to do. So having this chivalry, seeing a grandparent that was doing one thing, or seeing my parent, seeing certain things and understanding how women are gentle and we are supposed to be the protectors. So if you want to know how to attract, If men are seduced by their eyes and women are seduced by their ears, the first way to attract is to take care of your physical health. Your physical health. You can't get back your physical health, your physical beauty. That's how you attract. That doesn't mean you're going to keep at all. Period. How many single mothers do we have? How many women that, look, she talked about being violent. Every 17 seconds in the United States, a woman goes to the emergency room because of domestic violence. All right, that means somebody that they're supposed to love and supposed to love them has physically harmed them to the point where they're broken bones or cuts or other injuries or even death. Every 17 seconds. How many people since the time we started this live have been rushed to a hospital? And what about those that don't even make it there or don't go or continue to hide it? This is real. This is serious. All right, that's dangerous, extremely dangerous. It can be life-threatening, and it is, especially where we're from. The city we've been in just in the last year, been so many women killed, 17, 18 years old, 20-something. It's ridiculous. So as we talking, I'm telling you, this is wisdom. This is real. So, I got off the point I was wanting to speak on there, but chivalry, let that happen. Let a man solve these basic little things, help build up his points, if you will. Something simple. Do the extra gifts. You might have had it before or something, whatever. Like the stuff. Cater to the ego. You don't like something, want to change something around or something just not right, or you want to make whatever it may be, cater to the ego. Okay, so move it around, or it might be this, or giggle. These little things, men are seduced easily. It's not hard. So women can do that. And we joked before about it. It's like, you know what? Women have advantage when it comes to arguing anyway. All right, because they can go ahead and dial up how they look or something, or they might want to change clothes while you're arguing. That changes your whole chemistry and stuff up as a man. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. But if you don't know that and start using it, thinking we're gonna have to be like you in an argument, you're not gonna win. Use your powers of femininity to win or to make better for both of you. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, I totally agree. What feminine quality is that women should have? Taking care of your physical health, physical attractiveness. Yes, men are seduced by their eyes, but we feel a whole lot better. Have you ever walked past a mirror when you lost a weight you hit a goal weight and you wanted to hit and everything like that? I mean, yeah, they like that too, but we know what looks good. So, we can fool ourselves and be delusional all day long and say, well, this is healthy, or this is, I'm big and beautiful and all this other stuff. But we know, it was a woman that I saw, it was some video I watched, and one of the women, it was like, I guess, women wearing the same dress or different sizes or something. And it was a woman who was in the comments, and she stated that she was anywhere between a size 4 and a size 20 or 20 something in her life. And she said she was sexy little, she was sexy big, but she know it felt a whole lot different, being like a 10, 12. And that's what was ideal for her height and all these other things like that. So yeah, you can say these different things, but when it all comes down to your health, the way you feel and everything like that, and being physically attractive, definitely work on that. Those are that's a feminine quality. That's a feminine trait. Women are the ones that primp and go all in the mirror and looking and all the different rings and the jewelry and the accessories. That's a feminine thing. That's a woman thing. Make sure that's a thing that you're doing. Another thing is be cooperative. Be cooperative in the way, like Coach Nyla talked about, as far as listening to what they say and cater to the ego. I called it making it seem like it's their idea. That is your idea, but once you make it seem like it's their idea, do that with my boys. That's actually a masculine thing. I mean, it works with little boys. We work with little boys, Anyway, you make it think it's their idea. That's how I got, the 3-year-old potty trained as soon as I did, making them think it was his idea.
Now that Sister Coach Nyla has released her secrets, I would agree. Also, what's really attractive to men is not just you taking care of yourself so that you look good for them, so that you look good for you, right? So if you're taking care of yourself and you get up and you have a routine every day, and they that consistency, and they see that you're not just doing it for them, is attractive, because I'm telling y'all, A healthy mind, a man with a healthy mind does not want to be the center of your entire universe. That is unattractive. Because then when he can't move about if you just, what are you doing today? What did you do? You know, come sit by me. That clingy thing. No, that's unattractive because you don't want somebody up under you all the time. It's kind of like, go get you a life, go do something for yourself and others, you know, and let me have some time to do the same. They don't want to be people said that, we got a question from someone in Nigeria, and they said they do polygyny to show off. I've not met a man that has practiced polygyny to be a show off or be the man or look like he's controlling or collecting women. You know, he wants to be someone that's needed in his family. He wants to expand his family, take care of them, protect them, provide for them. Not be the dude that's sitting there and his whole universe is falling apart. But I get to say I have more than one wife. I'm the man. No, you're not. Your whole family falling apart, bro. And then everybody sees it. That's unattractive. But men want to be needed, you know. So when you go, I don't need you. I can do this by myself. Married to this person, and you're saying, I don't need you. What is he there for? What did you marry him for? Find attractive in him to begin with. Why did you want? Was it just so you could say you have a husband? So it's one of them things that you can say that other women can't? Is it that? Like a handbag? An accessory? So when they see you being consistent and taking care of you and having things that you want to do and that you're ambitious and that you love and your passion and your focal point is not their life, that's attractive.
By the way, this is going to be an ongoing conversation, prayerfully, inshallah. So when I talk about PMS, for example, P, that physical health, that actually attracts all kind of people, good, bad, ugly, whatever. That's simple. For a man, physically attractive. One, that doesn't keep a man though. Two, that M is that mental. You gotta have your mental health right. All right, you have to be able to carry on a conversation, not just some arm piece or trophy wife. You know what I'm saying? You have to be smart. Exactly. And then the third would be spiritual. And I know some people are like, well, shouldn't the spiritual be first? It does not matter how spiritual or how connected to God you are. If you're not physically attractive, you're not going to be my wife. Man, I know you could be great. You could be a great sister, all that kind of stuff. But if you're talking about attracting, keeping, and growing with, that spiritual foundation is very important. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying PMS. Okay, so P, physically, mentally, and then spiritually. And it has to be a growth. It means it's progress. There's development that comes along with that. It's not just, I'm trying, I'm done, dibbing and dabbing all over the place. No, make sure your physical is important if you want to attract. Now, if you're already married, you still need to be attracted. I got my man. I'm just going to blow up like Gina or Martin. Just right, stuff popping all over the place. Well, I don't have to be in shape because I'm covered. I wear an abaya. What? Is your man not still a man?
Wear an abaya, but you don't want to wear a
you know, glider. I'm just saying. So that's A. Then, of course, B, that M, your mental health. So that deals with these a lot of other areas. And of course, we go deeper with our RMIC members and so on. But that's important in the whole spiritual part. Because see, with the spiritual part, here's the thing. If you're spiritually sound, then you don't have trust issues. You're good. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the normal stuff that goes on, the drama and the other fitna and all these types of things. You have life that happens. Yes, life happens, tragedy, strike, all of that stuff. But when you have somebody who fears the creator, then you're going to be treated right because they fear the creator, even if they might have an issue or challenge with you. That's important. So you have high character. But you can have high character and that can be attractive. That's more attractive to women than it is men. Initially, okay? Initially, I had to have that caveat. But that's what is the glue that holds things together. That doesn't mean, you have to be just so physical. No. I'm saying take care of all three of those things. That's my advice to women. It's also my advice to men, but it's not in that order. Men is a different physical thing. It's more of a fiscal. You need to get your fiscal together first. You got your physical for the women, but the man got to get their fiscal because that deals with that whole security and other stuff that goes along with it. So with that, we're going to continue the conversation, inshallah. Hopefully y'all join us, whether you liking or subscribing, hitting the notification bells and stuff on YouTube, check us out on Facebook. If you want to really be in the loop, then you'll go to our website, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Go ahead and subscribe there, get your free download. And then we do private streaming sessions from a free membership area that we just announcing right now. So we do certain videos. It's not for social media, anything else. And we get deep. We, protect your anonymity if you want to ask certain questions and so on and so forth right there. So if you want to be down, outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. And I see you, IG. We just can't get to the camera and the phone because, it is what it is. But we're here.
Real quick, I just laugh because I've been thinking about this every time you say, the physical attraction to certain things that women, when you were in 4th grade and different things like that. I was thinking about, and I swear I'm probably dating myself and everything like that. But you remember MASH, the little game, the paper game, MASH. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember this.
We're that old.
It was M, and I was telling my daughter what the M, like M stood for mansion, A stood for apartment, S stood for shack, H stood for house. And then you do the little thing, the numbers and how many kids you want to have, all these things. But when
we didn't know that. I don't know what this is.
I'm saying about the whip. That's what I said. Y'all talked about what
the cutest.
Right. So we had this thing, but if you look, the marriage, it was how much money he made, it was what type of house you lived in, and how many kids you were going to have. It had nothing about what he looked like. Like, that was nothing on the thing. So it was just funny that you see what little girls talk about when it comes to, it's about stability, it's about protection, it's about leadership, it's about these different things that, not saying that men don't think about, somebody that's stability, has stability, like, emotional stability, mental stability.
Yeah, you want to raise your children and stuff, right? The family. Yeah.
It's just the values of where, like, of course, we want people that's attractive too, you know what I'm saying? But it's not on
it's a bonus.
It's a bonus, right? Because I've seen
not that they be ugly, but it's a bonus the more attractiveness that go along with it. I presume. I don't know.
But that even goes, like I said, the nature of it all. It goes into this natural thing, and it's not just, this is how this person was raised. It's like, when you go and look at the court when they're kids and see like what they talk about and what's attractive and everything like that, that's how you kind of get to the natural form of it all. When we get older, life happens and things happen, and then we get other stuff getting fed to us this way and that way, and media and this and that. And then we forget, what were we really attracted to in the first place? What attracts us to other people? We forget that stuff.
It goes to playing with dolls and playing house and all that kind of stuff, and cars and everything else. But it also largely depends on what you saw as healthy and unhealthy in your home. Whether it's a single parent household, whether it was a 2-parent house. I was there with my parents. Well, they both had me at 16. Okay, so they got married. I was at the wedding when I was 5. I was the ring boy. And then they got divorced when I was 12. But I was still there all the way up to my teenage years, pretty much, right? So my parents were there. It was not healthy at all. You know what I'm saying? So I made some decisions that, you know what? My father is the perfect example of what not to do and be. And I didn't want to do these number of different things he did. And alhamdulillah, have not. Alhamdulillah for Islam. We weren't raised Muslims. But, so these different dysfunctions and things can affect you in life and your output and your perspective, your outlook and your perspective. So, and then it goes to your grandparents' generation, but you start to see a system when you see the bigger thing and you look at it on a macro scale. So when we're talking about femininity and masculinity and stuff now, like, I don't believe there's such a thing as toxic masculinity. Masculinity is neutral. It's just masculinity. All right, femininity is femininity. If you're a bad dude, you're just a bad dude. I'm not going to blame this on your masculinity. You know what I'm saying? You need testosterone. When something hit the fan or something, be ready and be prepared and you take care of stuff, you want that testosterone, that masculinity to be there. Well, most people do. Maybe you don't. We are kind of, we kind of old school. We think men are born with, testicles and so on. All right, they have XY chromosome, and we believe that women are born with XX, no matter what they want to do later. So we old school with that. We have some different values. But if you believe different, do you? But we're saying that when it comes time for war, defending yourself and practice, you want some masculinity all up there on the front lines, if you will. All right. And if you want your home and your children to be right and to be learning, have a nurturing environment, you want actual peace. So if you're going to build a family, now this is just, I got to wrap up going, but this is really important. I remember when I was looking into, after I saw the movie, Malcolm X, before I read the book, and I was like, I like their women. I like these Muslim women. They're covered up and all that kind of stuff. Those women are good for marriage. wouldn't mind marrying something like that. These other ones, nah, it's not for marriage. You know what I'm saying? I made a distinction just at that time in my teenage years. You know, so it's very important because we know that a woman can decide based on her femininity and being intentional, whether or not she's going to be peace or just a piece. Men know the difference and women know the difference. So knowing doesn't mean much unless you will take some type of action. And everybody's on their journey. That doesn't mean you can't go from being a piece and having all kind of other stuff, but you decide to change your life, make better decisions, and move forward in a positive direction to attract that which you want versus settling. But at the same time, understand that it would be delusional to put yourself on such a higher level where you don't think somebody will have to settle for you. We're all humans.
Right.
All right. So be peace, not just a piece, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap it up. I don't see any other questions. Even if we did, we're already over an hour. We appreciate you. Yeah, we've already spent some time today with our Relationship Master Inner Circle members. Get more information there. Again, outstandingpersonrelationships.com/RM. We appreciate you. We're going to end with some GLC.
Yes, guys, make sure you are growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly.
Loving fearlessly.
And connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
I want to hit those. Yeah.